It all started when my closest friend's wife falsely accused me of having an affair with her. I've been married to my wonderful wife for 8 years, and we have 2 amazing children. My friend, let's call him Jack, and I have known each other since college. We've always been there for one another, bonding over our shared interests and experiences. When Jack started dating his now wife, let's call her Sarah, I tried to keep my distance, sensing that she was quite different from my wife in terms of values and character. Over the years, Jack and Sarah's relationship has been tumultuous, with frequent breakups and reconciliations. I've always known that Sarah has a tendency to manipulate the situation and blame Jack for her own shortcomings. On multiple occasions, she has cheated on him, but somehow managed to convince him that he was the one not putting in enough effort. Last month, Jack discovered that Sarah was having an affair with one of her coworkers. Understandably, he was devastated and came to stay with my family for a week, seeking solace. During this time, I did my best to support him, offering a listening ear and practical advice as he navigated the process of filing for divorce. However, the situation took a dramatic turn when Sarah came to collect her belongings from Jack's house. In the midst of this, she spitefully told Jack that she had been having an affair with me while they were married, and that we had been intimate in their own bedroom. This accusation is completely false. I have never spent a single moment alone with Sarah, nor have I ever been unfaithful to my wife. When Jack heard this, he became enraged and showed up at my doorstep, hurling insults and accusations. Thankfully, my wife was there, and she managed to calm the situation and prevent any physical altercation. But the damage had been done. Jack told a number of our close friends that I had betrayed him by sleeping with his wife. I am completely devastated by this turn of events. Not only do I have to deal with the emotional turmoil of being falsely accused, but I also now have to contend with the potential breakdown of my friendships due to this malicious lie. My wife has been a rock, steadfastly supporting me and believing in my innocence, but the strain on our relationship is palpable. I feel utterly powerless in the face of this situation, and I'm at a loss as to how to convince everyone that I had no involvement whatsoever with Sarah. The thought of losing my closest friends, not to mention the potential impact on my family, is truly heartbreaking. I desperately need to find a way to clear my name and restore the trust that has been so carelessly shattered. As I sit here trying to process everything that has happened, I can't help but wonder how I ended up in this twisted predicament. All I know is that I need to find a solution, and fast, before the damage becomes irreparable. The path forward is murky, but I'm determined to fight for the truth and reclaim my reputation, no matter the cost. In the aftermath of the devastating accusations, my wife and I decided to take immediate legal action. We knew that the only way to clear my name and restore the truth was to pursue a defamation lawsuit against Sarah. I was initially hesitant to go down the legal route, wanting to somehow convince Jack and the others of my innocence through reason and conversation. However, my wife wisely pointed out that Sarah had proven herself to be a manipulative individual, and that the only way to protect our family was to take a firm stand. We reached out to a trusted family friend who was an experienced attorney, seeking her guidance. She listened intently as we laid out the details of the situation and assured us that we had a strong case for defamation. The lawyer explained that Sarah's false statements had the potential to cause significant harm to my reputation and character, and that we could seek damages for the emotional distress it had caused. Armed with this legal expertise, my wife and I drafted a strongly worded letter to Sarah, outlining our intent to pursue a defamation lawsuit if she did not provide a written retraction and apology within a specified time frame. It was a difficult decision, but we knew that we needed to take decisive action to protect our family. To our surprise, the letter had the desired effect. Within a few days, Sarah showed up at our doorstep, accompanied by her father. My wife and I were apprehensive, but we allowed them to enter, determined to hear what they had to say. As soon as they stepped inside, Sarah launched into a tearful apology, admitting that her previous statements about an affair were completely false. She explained that in the heat of the moment, she had lied to Jack in a desperate attempt to hurt him, knowing that it would devastate him. Sarah acknowledged that her actions were unjustifiable and that she had never actually had any involvement with me. My wife, who had been prepared to unleash her wrath, was taken aback by Sarah's confession. She listened intently as Sarah pleaded for our forgiveness, stating that she was willing to do whatever it took to make amends. Seeing the genuine remorse in her eyes, my wife's anger began to dissipate, and she agreed to hear Sarah out further. Sarah then turned to me and apologized profusely, acknowledging the tremendous harm she had caused. She expressed her deep regret for the pain and turmoil her actions had inflicted, not only on our family, but also on her own marriage. It was a poignant moment, and I could sense the sincerity in her words. As Sarah spoke, I couldn't help but feel a glimmer of empathy for her. While her actions were undoubtedly reprehensible, I recognized the complexity of the situation and the emotional turmoil she must have been experiencing in her own relationship. In that moment, I realized that forgiveness, though difficult, could be a path toward healing. Turning to Jack, who had remained silent throughout the exchange, Sarah apologized for the false accusations and the damage they had caused to our friendship. She acknowledged that her actions had been selfish and destructive, and she pleaded with him to find it in his heart to forgive her. The atmosphere in the room was charged with tension, and I held my breath, unsure of how Jack would respond. Would he be able to move past the betrayal and the pain he had endured? As the seconds ticked by, I could see the internal struggle playing out on his face. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Jack spoke up. His voice was shaky, but there was a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "I don't know if I can forgive you, Sarah," he said, his gaze shifting between her and me. "The pain you've caused is just so deep. But I know that holding on to this anger and resentment will only continue to hurt me. And I don't want that anymore." Jack paused, taking a deep breath. "I'm willing to try, Sarah, but it's going to take time. And I need you to prove to me, through your actions, that you're truly remorseful and committed to rebuilding our relationship." Sarah nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I understand. I know it won't be easy, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I just hope that someday you and your friend can forgive me." As the tension in the room began to dissipate, I felt a sense of relief wash over me. While the path forward was still uncertain, the acknowledgement of wrongdoing and the willingness to work towards forgiveness gave me hope that this chapter could be closed. My wife and I exchanged a meaningful glance, both of us acknowledging the complexity of the situation and the importance of empathy and understanding. We knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but we were committed to supporting Jack and Sarah in their efforts to heal their relationship. In the days that followed, Jack and Sarah continued to work on their communication and trust. It was a slow and arduous process, but they both seemed determined to make it work. Meanwhile, my wife and I reached out to our friends, one by one, to clarify the truth and mend the relationships that had been strained by the false accusations. To our relief, most of our friends were understanding and willing to listen to our side of the story. They recognized the manipulative nature of Sarah's actions and were relieved to know that I had not been unfaithful. Gradually, the cloud of suspicion began to lift, and our social circles started to return to normal. As for my friendship with Jack, it has been a delicate journey. There is still a sense of hesitation and caution, but we have both made efforts to rebuild the trust and understanding that once defined our bond. I know that it will take time, but I am committed to being there for him, just as he has been there for me in the past. Looking back on this tumultuous experience, I can't help but reflect on the power of forgiveness and the importance of perspective. While the initial pain and betrayal were overwhelming, the willingness of all parties to acknowledge their mistakes and work towards reconciliation has been a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As I move forward, I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned and the strength I've gained. This ordeal has made me appreciate my wife and family even more, and has reminded me of the value of true friendship. Though the path ahead may still be uncertain, I'm confident that with empathy, understanding, and a commitment to honesty, we can emerge from this challenge stronger and more connected than ever before.